Welcome to Lunch and Learn. Yes, it's that time. It's Monday. So let's hop in. There's lots to cover actually. And I got just the finishing touches on the slide. So let me make sure everybody can hear me. If you are on the live right now, you do have a chat icon. Feel free to use it. And if you are watching the replay, well, there won't be a live chat because it won't be live, but you can still catch the replay for the Lunch and Learn. Today, I'm going to talk about hyperlocal lead generation, 35 ideas to get leads in your neighborhood. And these classes have been absolutely amazing, so much fun. Let me actually see if I can make it a little, there you go. How's that? A little better? Okay, so we've got lots to cover today. Before I jump in, for those of you that are brand new, I always want to know how class is. Is it helpful? We want your feedback. So if you want to go and leave us an honest review, we would absolutely love that. And because I'm a mom, I believe in bribery at 100%. Yes, this is the way we go. Your feedback means we will actually give you one of our business builder boxes, which is a box that is physically coming to your front door. So you will have a physical box at the front door by simply leaving us an honest review after today's class. Inside that box, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek, is my repeat and referral business system. What does it mean? It means that this is the way how I stay in touch with people. This is a great way to start systematizing your follow-up and also learn more things. So inside that box, it's called a business builder because we do have things inside of there to help you build your business, from trainings to, of course, the postcards to stay in touch, right? Books to really just get to more of a rounded perspective. That is the goal here. If you have not, I would suggest you put your phone on do not disturb because otherwise it keeps buzzing just as much as mine. And that's the box. So again, this is my little bribe for everybody who attends class. You can simply text the word review. So even if you have to leave a little early, we'll still count your review. Don't worry. You can leave one. Again, the word review itself, I'll put it in the comments for those of you that are on here live right now. If not, it's the word review. And then this one here is our number for the hyperlocal agent. You can text that one. It's not a call center, so feel free to text. Well, that out of the way, welcome to hyperlocal lead generation, 35 ideas to get leads in your neighborhood. And of course, it's a presentation for educational and informational purposes. It's been compiled and derived of sources that I believe to be reliable. You are your own small business owner. Do your due diligence. Now, after class, I always have one goal for every single person that takes me up on our Lunch and Learns, which is really figure out what's your next step, right? Inaction in our industry has never been so high. And when I started on my instructor journey, I made one promise. I want agents to take one next step, right? Whatever that step is for you. For some agents, this might be, let me take another class. For another agent, that might be, hey, I want to actually read a book on that topic. Another agent might say, you know what, I've done the reading, I've done the classes. It's time for me to actually push, hit, print, pick up the phone, walk a flyer, whatever that means for you, okay, you need to get into action. So for us here, it's really three paths that we present to you. It's either the lifetime learner, you come to more classes, the book reader, I want to tell you a little bit about the books I wrote on direct mail, or you're going to be the action taker that is just simply, I've done the classes, I've done the courses, I've done the books, I need to really get out there. So you decide where you're at. And this one here is just a breakdown. The class pass, we are currently working on that one. If it still says coming soon, it's not live yet. If you see it below this video already as live, then that means this class pass is live. What's a class pass? It's our 30-day class pass. Kind of think about it as your Netflix subscription to, well, it's not a subscription actually, it's 30 days, but it's 30 days access. After that, it terminates. So deadline, okay? And you get instant access to all the classes we've done, just like this one, but really deep diving into a topic. There's going to be a lot of them. And absolutely one of the best. This is one of the masterminds actually I personally just got into. It's on-demand learning, and oh my gosh, I love it. So for the bookworm, that is all about the book. I always get asked like, hey, can I pick your brain? And before I would ask anybody to pick my brain, I mean, by all means, I'm a pretty open book, but by all means, look and see what people have written on books, because when people publish books, they don't just publish crap. Okay. So this one here is the first book I wrote. It's an Amazon best-selling book. You can find it on Amazon, or you can go ahead and just simply take me up on my free book and you just cover shipping. Either way, your choice. And then the action taker, this one is our Mailer Bootcamp, a 5-day challenge to really get into action. Okay. So next bootcamp is starting up pretty soon. And if you have questions on that, ask them, because this is where the rubber meets the road, as they say. All right. So let's really get going on everything. We've had a couple minutes of everybody getting acquainted, get settled, get a workbook. If you don't have a workbook, you can grab ours at thehyperlocalagent.com/workbook. Again, there is no opt-in on this one, so it's straight up Google Drive link that you're going to get. I'll put this one in the comment for you as well, because why not? And then if you do have questions, ask. If you don't ask, I'll just keep going. One of the first things I always ask is, how much is one lost listing costing you? We do not understand how much money we leave on the table by not taking action. I really want you to think about it. What is one lost listing costing you? For me, it's anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000. It's a whole lot of money. This is what it costs me when my sign is not in the front of the house. What is it going to cost you? Think about this, okay? So what hyperlocal lead gen method have you tried? Hyperlocal being the focus here, right? What have you tried? Drop it in the comments. I'm really curious to see, what have you tried? What haven't you tried? And in today's class, I'm going to give you 35 lead gen ideas for your neighborhood. Yes, 35. It's a lot. So that workbook link, you want me to put it right there? Yeah, you may want it. 35 is a lot. And here's the thing. I do not expect you to do all 35, because that's crazy. Like, not going to happen. There's actually a lot of them in there. And I want to say, I'm going to keep count how many of them I actually do. But out of these 35, if I find another one or two that you can implement this year, next year, right, for the rest of your real estate career, this is a win. You're going to have to know a couple things, such as, how do you actually enjoy generating leads the best? I'm not a phone caller. I'm an introvert. I like marketing at scale. You need to know what works best for you, okay? So if you know what you enjoy, do you enjoy marketing or do you enjoy prospecting, right? It's one of the things that you can figure out. Let's see, we got holiday events, a light contest, egg hunt, yard sales. Yes, there's a lot of the same ones that I like, not the holiday light contest. We haven't gotten there yet. But Letters to Santa is one of the ones we're doing, right? Pictures with the Easter Bunny, neighborhood garage sale. So we're going to go over a lot of the different ideas. Pick one where you get excited. Out of 35 ideas, I promise you, you're going to find something today that makes you feel like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. So we broke it down into 7 different levels, and I tried to really group them, okay? So there's 5 traditional lead gen methods, there's 5 digital ones, there's 5 community-focused lead methods, 5 innovative ones, 5 personal touches, 5 old school, and 5 leveraged. So you're going to start seeing how they fit in. Progressively, we tried to, go with what makes sense for most every agent, all the way to, hey, I actually have a successful business. Now I just want to do more, right? You're out there to get the number 1 spot in your brokerage, like whatever it is that you are after, we try to build it up that way. So let's dive into the 5 traditional methods to generate leads. All right. So What's traditional? Well, it would be shocking if I don't start off to tell you direct mail, right? I know most of you probably got to know me based on direct mail. I love direct mail. It allows me to get my inner marketing geek out. It allows me to market to the masses at scale. And when I look at direct mail, I look at it as my way to connect with people that are similar to me, right? They don't necessarily want to answer those phone calls. I love mail. I think it's a great way to stay in front of somebody for a prolonged period of time. So that is obviously what I had to mention here first, but there are others. If you are more on the extroverted side and you're like, I absolutely love door knocking, more power to you. It's not me. But if this is you and you love going up to some stranger's door and saying, knock, 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 hi, I wanted to say hi, I'm a neighborhood real estate agent, by all means, you do you. It's a traditional method. It's a number game, as they say, right? And it's 100% working. Just again, when I said mind your personality, it's not my thing. All right, we're already on 2. Moving on. Open houses. We actually have an entire class dedicated to hyper local open houses and leveraging them before and after the open house. When I teach that class on open houses, it's really eye-opening for agents to realize that hyper local open houses done right, actually the biggest part of what you do happens right before the open house and then after the open house. The open house itself, not so much. Now, of course, we want to promote the house. We want to, uptalk the house, especially if it's your own listing. But really, you can use these open house opportunities to get more seller leads. One of the most undervalued things ever. Now, cold calling. Again, I'm going to put that down below on it's a number game. It's not me, but if you love talking on the phone and you love talking on the phone with strangers, well, fact of the matter is it works. Just have to figure out, is it the right thing for you? Okay, so you can definitely call in a hyperlocal market and introduce yourself, ask them questions, tell them about the neighbor's house for sale, right? And number 5, local advertisement, right? Those are the local newsletters, the grocery stores. Those are like the hand sanitizing stations, right? The bus stops, the benches, billboards. Essentially, we're looking at billboards. Billboard marketing is something that I think most agents are doing way too soon. When I look at billboard marketing, I do think billboards can be great once you have your foot in the door to amplify your brand, right? But having a billboard too early can just simply cost you money. And the reason is simple. You can put your face on a billboard for credibility, but if they have never seen you anywhere else, that billboard just cost you a lot of money instead of made you money. Okay. So I do think billboards can work. I just would probably put it a lot later on to somebody's career. So hopefully that was helpful. Now, are we all good with those 5? Pretty traditional, right? Nothing crazy here. I had to kick off easy, making sure you guys pay attention. All good here? Because then we're going to move on to the digital way for hyperlocal leads. And this one, there's 5 again, very similar. And you decide which one is best. Oh, by the way, I'm going to go back one more. Out of these 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and since we're live right now, which one is calling to you the most? You can scribble down the number on your notepad. I would love to see them in the chat. But what is something on this list right here where you're saying, I can do that? Is it the direct mail? Is it the open houses? Because if you don't see yourself doing any of this, right, it's going to be really, really hard to start scaling a real estate business if you want to go beyond your sphere, your past clients. You gotta have to reach out to people in that little pot of people that don't know you yet, right? We all have our little like warm nest egg of like, oh yeah, those are my friends, my family. They'll call me when they want to sell. But this whole like stranger danger thing, right? I've like, they have a need, I got a license, I can solve their problem if only I could talk to them first. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Which one floats your boat the best? Put it down on a piece of paper. Pick one. Don't pick all 3. Pick one. Maybe 2. Okay? All right, moving on. Now, the digital methods to generate leads. We've got 5 here. First up, social media groups, right? Yes, there's a lot of hyperlocal groups, and people are asking for recommendations, such as, hey, we're looking to redo our kitchen. Do you have any reputable vendor recommendations? Hey, we have a leak. Do you know a plumber? How about we're thinking about selling our house? Have you gotten an agent recommendation for us? I know we love seeing those, right? Some more underhanded ones that you might start paying attention to is looking for moving companies. Well, why are you looking for moving companies, right? So really start looking at these social media groups, and then the way you respond can be a deal breaker between you getting a lead and you just being taken for the recommendation. So one of the things that we, for example, do is we have compiled a vendor list of 50 plus vendors, so 50 different categories of vendors. And we will simply tell them, hey, we have compiled an entire list. There's some of the most affordable and best plumbers that our neighbors have used. Let me know if this is what you're looking for, right? And we could just show a picture of it. If they respond with, oh my gosh, yes, that would be awesome, we will give them our landing page. They can opt themselves in, and we can then start building a relationship over email. Make sense, everybody? Yes? Okay. Putting in there, call John the plumber at 847, blah, 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 is not going to help you get leads. You need to be strategic about what you're doing with your digital marketing. Okay? Totally doable on a hyper-local level. Next up, local SEO. Oh, it's a long game. And man, we are not patient in real estate. If you really want to understand SEO, it can be great for you to become the known source of, the go-to expert. But do understand that it may take some time. I do suggest it is a lot easier to get a website to rank if you make it neighborhood specific. I've just looked in one of our local groups, and somebody was saying, hey, we're thinking about buying in this town, and here are 3 subdivisions we're considering. Now, if you had a website specific to one of these 3 subdivisions, guess who would be much more likely to get a call as that go-to agent, right? Especially if you have them coming back to that site, if you have them engaging, if you have them seeing you as the hyper local expert. You don't have to worry about ranking your website on the number 1 page of Google if you can go about it this way and really provide value on a hyper local level that ChatGPT could never bring to the table because it just simply doesn't live there. Okay, make sense? Yes? All right, moving on. Online ads. Oh man. Now, anybody tried online ads before? Let's just say it works. It has gotten really, really, really expensive. And if you think a lead means that they're actually head over heels, and want to have you call them and want to sell their house tomorrow, you are so wrong. Online ads work, but they can be pretty pricey. When you really look at the cost of what online ads, went through, they have just gone through the roof. I know people complain about the cost of postage. Let me tell you, the cost of postage has nothing on the cost of online ad spend. Okay? Like online ad spend went like this, whereas postage went like that. Minimal increase, but yet people don't notice that. Do they work? Absolutely, if you have a strategy in place. Hyperlocal ads obviously became a whole lot more difficult, especially for Facebook Marketplace, when Facebook faced this whole, oh, you're targeting rich neighborhoods, this is discrimination. So what they had to do is they had to increase their ad radius for protected categories, which is housing as one of them. So now we are forced to market in a 15-mile radius. Now, if you are in the country, not that big of a deal. You're fine. If you are in a more suburban or urban area, well, 15 miles can be a lot. For example, I hate traveling more than 5 miles. I might be a little spoiled at this point, but it's just where most of my business has concentrated, and I absolutely love it. It has just been the absolute best. So having this as an option for those of you that want to run ads for the real hyperlocal agent in a more suburban setting, probably not working as well. Email newsletter. Oh, I've seen email newsletters. I've seen the ones where you just cringe. I've seen the ones where you think, oh, another one of those. And I've seen the ones that make you say, ooh, yeah, I've been waiting for that one. So what's the difference? The difference is the more hyper-local content you're able to add. And I'm going to be honest, my email newsletter game for my hyperlocal farm has been not that great. Okay. I have been really great about emailing my database consistently once a week for, at this point, months, if not even years. I've been really, really consistent. But having a hyperlocal newsletter is still on the agenda, right? The things to do really on a hyperlocal level. It's not necessarily about, hey, there's a new listing, or hey, here's a market snapshot. Because the fact of the matter is, most people, they just simply don't care that much. So a hyperlocal newsletter is a great way. Maybe you want to talk about a specific model inside that newsletter. That's one of the things that we're discussing, is how can we bring more value of, like, get to know the neighborhood, get to know this park, get to know this business, get to know the model, get to know, who built this, a little bit more history combined with, ooh, this is interesting. And you can actually then ask people, hey, we actually have a newsletter in which we discuss all of the different models. If you've been thinking about what model do I own, right? Or who do I call? This is definitely the place. If you want, I send it to you. Let me know. Again, generate leads with it. And number 5, virtual tours and videos. Consistently publishing these tours of communities and homes, if you have them listed, not homes that somebody else has listed without permission, houses that either you have listed or houses that you have gotten permission on. Doing these tours can truly help you generate leads. So how do you do that? When you are doing a tour, it's fairly easy to just say, hey, I'm having a property tour of this 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Here it is, blah, 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 kitchen, awesome, awesome, awesome. Withhold something important, such as, what's the price? What's the address, right? Addresses are fantastic. And if you are setting it up in a way where they can just comment a keyword, for example, and for those of you that are using GeoCentral, you have that part available in there, so check that one out. But if they drop a keyword, right, such as home tour or address, you can then just simply send them the address. In this way, you are generating interest and leads, and you can follow up. So lots of fun things you can do with this. Don't just post a tour and consider it done, okay? Think about, how can I get a lead from that today? Well, moving on to community-focused methods. Out of these 5 digital methods, which one can you see yourself doing? Which one makes sense for you to implement? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you can't see any of these working, okay, that's okay. There's like another 30 some, well, we already covered 10. So there's another 25 different ways coming up. But you really need to figure out, what is getting me excited. I try to give you as much detail on them as possible as I can fit in to a 60-minute lunch and learn, okay? From the strategy, the implementation part, obviously, it needs to light you up. You need to be excited about it. For us, the email newsletter is going to get added. We already do have responses that we do with our landing pages on social media groups. Virtual video tours, we're trying to get better about these again as well, more consistent, right? All right, everybody got something? All right, moving on. Let's talk about community-focused methods. There are 5 community-focused lead gen methods we're going to talk about. And I saw some of those in the comments earlier. Sponsor local events, right? Local events, you can support the ones that are already happening, or of course you can host your own. Example, I love my garage sale. My neighborhood garage sale started in 2017, I believe, maybe 2015. Might have been 2015 actually. And it was just very small. It's a teeny tiny 10 people garage sale. And now we have over 150 people participate every single year. And I generate leads with these, and I actually do list a lot of these houses that have participated. Okay, so think about, does it make sense for you to host an event where you can connect with people early on that are thinking about selling? Why do I do a garage sale? Well, people have to move. They don't want to move with all their junk. Facebook Marketplace is one option, but you know how it goes. People just don't show up. So why not just have a garage sale, put it out on the driveway, out of the house, let people pay you to carry it off your property, and whatever is left, you can then load it up in the car and drive it up to donation, or maybe you want to organize a donation drive and have a truck pick all the leftovers up, right? You're being helpful and you are actually procuring potential seller leads. All right, next up, community workshops. Do you have a talent or a passion? You could definitely share it with your community. Here's a little fun fact. I absolutely loved to coupon. I have this pair of American flag shoes, and actually I think I had to donate them, but I bought them at Target and I paid a whole lot of 8 cents for it. Yes, like 8 cents, less than a dime for these shoes. How? Coupon, right? So when you have a talent or a passion or something that you absolutely enjoy, can you offer it to the community as a workshop? And again, I loved couponing. It was just something I did when I had a lot of time. I loved the math behind it, right? So it was never like, oh, I don't want to, have this product because if I don't use it, I'm not going to buy it. It's wasteful. But I would look at, is it something that I can donate? Is it needed for one of the shelters? Or is it something that, we personally use? And it just became a really, really fun number game, to the point of, hey, I bought $130 worth of groceries. I ended up paying like $8 for it. I should probably get back to that because, let's be honest, grocery carts are getting expensive. So what's your superpower? What do you like? Do you like gardening? Are you really good in quilting, right? Is that something that you can connect with people and bond with them over that certain thing? Think about anything that makes sense for you. Charity involvement. Well, is there a national charity you love? What if we can find something that's a little bit more local? Can you get involved in a charity that is near and dear to your heart? Have you had anything happen to your family, to you, where you're like, this needs to be supported more, right? Great way to go about it. Networking with local businesses. Small business owners are all around you. Say hi, establish a relationship. We've actually just done something very, very similar on our Letter with Santa and, our Picture with Santa event. I did go to a lot of the local businesses and I said, hey, we want to put together a holiday coupon booklet, right? I already have the event. I already have Santa. Would you like to be part of it? I don't need any money. I'm just offering you a mini billboard. And what I did was I compiled a little mini coupon booklet, and everybody that came to my event, I handed them one, right? It created a great networking with local business opportunity. And it's something that we're going to continue on down the road. You can definitely go about it in a holiday kind of way. You can do it for the entire year. Lots of different ways to then get also referrals flowing. Like, hey, if you hear about somebody, make sure, right, real estate agent of choice. So it's a great way to get to know the local business owners, connect, and also get referrals for lead gen. Of course, there's local associations, right? There's the HOAs, the BNI networks, the chamber, local business associations. There's lots of these. You can definitely look into them and see what they're doing for the community, get involved with them, and start networking there. I tried BNI groups early on in my career. It was just really hard since I had a little guy to make these meetings. I had to get a babysitter. Kids weren't necessarily like on the, oh yeah, bring them along kind of list. So I struggled with these a little bit. But again, if you do not have to worry about any of this, this might be a great way for you to utilize networking as a lead gen method. So out of those 5, sponsor local events, community workshops, charity involvement, networking with local businesses, or local associations, which one of these can you see yourself doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Put it on a piece of paper, write it down. If none of these are anything that makes sense for you, it's okay. Don't worry. We have more. All right, moving on. Let's talk a little bit about innovative methods to generate leads. Yes, there are 5 innovative methods we're going to talk about. First up, local influencer collaboration. Do you know somebody famous locally? Well, could you form a partnership? And some of this could look as simple as, hey, there is a staging company, and what if I actually have them stage my new listing, and then they're going to be doing a shout out on their social, they're going to get the word out, right? How about I just interview them about the best way to make a fireplace look absolutely amazing? Think about possibilities of how to go about it. Home organizers. How do you organize a mudroom, right? What about a painting company? You can definitely collaborate. If you have somebody a little bit more quirky in your marketplace, somebody that draws a lot of views, you're like, oh yeah, this person, right? Think about anybody that you feel like, oh, they have a following, they know somebody. Make sense? All right. Hyperlocal blogging. Now, this one kind of goes hand in hand with the hyperlocal SEO. Think blogging, again, let's talk about the subdivision models, right? I could write an entire blog about one specific model of a house, and I could, take one of my listings as an example, add some of these pictures in it. I could talk about all the things that make this house so special and so unique, and I can embed it, and then obviously it would help my SEO, and it would also get people interested, and I can combine it with my hyperlocal newsletter. Okay, now you're starting to see how we can combine and stack and make more of this happen. Hyperlocal blogging, right? And it is, again, something that may not be instant, but it can be pretty low cost, and you can start repurposing it. I'm a big fan of repurposing it. If you put a lot of effort into something, do it the right way once, because when you start reusing it, models don't change, right? But you can come up with spin-offs of like, hey, here's a way how this model got modified. So if you've been thinking about adding an addition instead of moving, check this one out. What agent is suggesting that? I don't know a lot of agents that do, but I would love for you to be the first one, because if they are looking at that as an option, then realize the cost of it doesn't make any sense, then it would make sense to say, you know what? Thanks so much for the tip, Janine. This was not going to work just because of price, but we're wondering, can you come over and look at our house and tell us how much we can get? Okay. Great way to start a conversation. All right, geofencing with smartphones. Trigger alerts to phones when the prospect's cell phone enters a geo boundary. And this is definitely one of the innovative lead gen methods. You may have seen it happen when you're looking at a driving, like a driving app. Sometimes you enter a geofencing boundary of McDonald's, okay, for example. And when you are looking at your GPS and it says like, hey, you have an offer right here, you have a McDonald's in less than a mile from you, this offer pops up because you entered this boundary. Now, you could do the same with your listings. You could do the same with a pin in your neighborhood, okay? Be like, hey, local agent of choice. Just something to consider. I know. And those little things are oftentimes called beacons, in case you're wondering. So feel free to look up geofencing, beacon, real estate. You should find a couple things there. Moving on to the next innovative lead gen strategy, custom market reports. And most systems are simply no match for manual put together CMAs, right? You and I both know that there's more tools out there doing like general CMAs than not. I mean, there's just a lot of them. But at the end of the day, you and I still have a business model because it's not about the general report, right? It's about the custom market report, the one that takes in market considerations, the market condition in general, just something a little bit more custom. If I ask you, hey, how are ranches right now doing in your marketplace? Because I can tell you in my marketplace, ranches are like the needle in the haystack, it seems like. Having a nice sprawling ranch is like what everybody wants. Doesn't matter if they're 20, 30, 40, 50, 80, 90, 100. Everybody wants a ranch. Problem is, the builder that built up this entire town here thought, well, we want more families. Families don't like ranches. Families like 2 stories. So let's build more 2 stories. Now that created in my world where I live a shortage of them, making them highly desirable. So if you really think about all these little things that we as agents know living and working where we do, right? No system in the world will be smart enough to understand demand. And we saw that, I think, with COVID. So if you have a way to do a custom market report, you can definitely put this out there as a lead gen tool. We have one that we can use and drill it down all the way to neighborhoods, not even radiuses, down to neighborhoods, right? You can drill it down to school district boundaries. There's a lot you can do to really make sure these custom reports are just like that, custom. And then host guided neighborhood tours. Take neighbors through a guided tour of your company's listings. And again, having permission, if you are not the listing agent, is vital. But if you are doing a simple tour of all the listings that you have, right, you could do an entire live stream and be like, hey, I'm going to tour you through my 5 listings today inside this city. So if you've been thinking about wanting to own a ranch, a townhome, a large home that has enough room for everyone in a 3-car garage, a listing that's not on the market yet, and yes, also a fixer-upper, follow me along today. We're going to go through all of these. I hope my phone's not gonna last, but buckle up and come along. And then take them with you on a guided neighborhood tours, stop at a couple places, point out a couple things, right? And you can generate leads with that. Once you're done, right, you can repurpose this one and you can simply put it behind a locked bar. Say, hey, we have done a guided tour on these 5 listings. List them out again. If you want to watch the video, simply unlock it by filling out the form here. Done and done. All right, we're talking lead gen. We're not talking just putting out stuff. Lead gen. Everybody make sense so far? So between these 5 innovative lead gen methods, local influencer collaboration, hyperlocal blogging, geofencing with smartphones, custom market reports, and guided neighborhood tours, which one do you see yourself doing? Put down your number. Remember, if it's none, it's okay. It needs to light you up. It really does. And then we're moving on. We're going to have to hurry along a little. Personal touch. I got 5 personal touch lead gen methods for you. For those of you that are a little bit more on the fun, feely side of things, that's for you guys. Client and neighborhood appreciation events, right? Bring a friend, send us a referral form, You can lead capture during these events that you are putting on. And again, they don't have to be large. They can be small little, wine tasting nights, bourbon nights. We've done an entire summit on, like, how many were there? Like 60 plus neighborhood events. And that summit has been eye-opening for so many. It doesn't have to be the largest of large events. Having sometimes 10, 15 people is plenty, okay? Handwritten notes. Yes, there is magic in handwritten notes, and you can form very real relationships through them. There are companies that are doing like little robot handwriting. Personally, what we've done, we've written one handwritten note once, took a picture of it, we put that picture of the handwritten note onto a note card and then just ran it through our printer. So this way it still looked like a handwritten note. You could also use Canva fonts and just print a handwritten font on a note card. Super doable as well. And this way you don't have to handwrite this many, but you still get the same effect. Okay, so that is another little hack we've used. Hopefully it's helpful for you. Birthday and anniversary cards. Associating a really positive feeling with your name is truly valuable for your customer journey. You should do that one for all your past clients to start with, but there's nothing that says you don't or you can't do it for your neighbors. Is there? So what if you were to actually look up people that have lived in your neighborhood for more than 20 years and you see when they bought their house and you just make sure you send them a happy anniversary card when their anniversary is due? They're going to be like, oh, yeah, that's right. How do you know? It's like, man, we were actually just thinking. Okay. And birthdays, you can put out there, hey, one of the things that make this neighborhood so amazing is the people. And we would love to think about you on your birthday and send you a card. Would you mind filling out our form? Holiday gifts, that's another little one, commonly known as pop-bys. Again, pop-bys, in my opinion, they cost a lot of money. They're very time consuming. But again, it's not about my opinion here. It's about giving you ideas. So can you do pop-bys, little holiday gifts for the season to stay top of mind? Absolutely. Okay. I just think when agents are spending $5 on a pop-by, they get 10 of them done, 15 of them done, 100 of them done. I much rather say go and send some more postcards out and get more bang for your buck. But again, this is for me to compile, not to infiltrate with my opinion. Holiday gifts can be a great source of lead gen once the holidays are done, because when they have something physical, they hold on to it, and then they are reaching out oftentimes after the dust has settled. Okay. And then community service. I mean, after all, making your place your neighborhood a better place to live, right? That's a good one. We had a neighborhood cleanup event that somebody had organized. And again, it's just another nice way to touch base with people having the same agenda, people wanting to do the same things that you do, okay? And then from there, form relationships. You can have a local Facebook group. You can generate addresses. You can generate emails from that Facebook group. There are things that you can plug into your Facebook groups to make it work. If you're part of the hyperlocal agent, you actually saw this one in action. And if you're not, you should go find us on Facebook, find our group, ask to join, and then you'll see how this works there. So very similar, you can start generating leads from groups, community services you're doing, right? Get everybody in one container, and then keep in touch with them, obviously, about your community service you're doing by asking for their email. All right, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Which of these personal touch lead gen methods is making sense to you? Let me know in the comments. And then we've got, I think, 2 more to wrap up. Old school. I'm going to have to speed along a little. For old school, I love the old school ones, mainly because old school is not so old school if you have a system. Door hangers, well, first up, I think all of us can agree that we sit way too much. We sit on our desk, we sit in our car, right? We should probably be more active as real estate agents. So door hangers, door to door, little leave behinds, absolutely amazing. Postcards, right? Just listed, under contract, just sold, coming soon. I'm having them grouped here, so I don't have them grouped with direct mail, because this is where the listing marketing snowballs into more transactions. So if you are not doing any of that on your current listings, you absolutely should. Letters, flyers, again, sending letters through the mail, dropping off flyers at the door. It's just another form of the leave behinds. Circle prospecting, again, very, very similar. You can do it with phone calls. You can also do it with direct mail. Going around a property that you either have coming soon, just listed, you have it under contract, you have it just sold, or you have even a buyer looking, right? Circle prospecting is a great way for you to get in front of people. And then one we have done is a simple note card with a business card. Hey, I just want to make sure you keep me top of mind as it relates to your real estate business. Love living in this neighborhood and the people in it, and I know I can get you the most amount of money possible. Here's my card, right? Simple, to the point. And again, this business card, make sure it has a QR code, make sure it has a magnet. And this way they can just put it on the fridge. It's again a mini billboard, old school lead gen method for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Which one is lighting you up and you think you can do to get hyper local leads into your business? And yes, some of you are like, okay, where's the magic button, right? Lead gen is definitely something you need to love. You need to find something you love. And I hope you're going to find something in these 35 ways. So the leverage method. And this one is there for those of you saying, okay, this was all great, but that all sounds like work. Well, comes dressed in overalls, looks like work. It happens. But for those of you saying, okay, I need leverage, how about an inside sales associate? This one is a person that can call for you to find interested people that you can then follow up with. I have my opinion about this, but remember, these slides here are not about my opinion. But anybody's ever gotten a phone call from a recruiting agency saying, oh, I'm calling on behalf of the managing broker and he would really like to speak with you. I'm like, if this managing broker can't even find the time to call me because, he's hiring you, how important am I as a person? I'm not even interested. I know I'm not the only one feeling this way. So again, you decide what your business model looks like. This is the way I feel about ISAs. When they are looking to call to set appointments, they do work, but I do think that your conversion is going way down. A team. Well, you can build a team. You don't have to, but you can. Managing people, it's definitely not for the faint of heart, but you can gain leverage this way. If you do not have to be the sole person out there, right, producing results, getting leads, it's sometimes nice to have a little bit of help. Cold emailing, yes, you can purchase an email list. It can be a highly scalable way. It's just the problem is that when you start getting cold emails, and oftentimes you end up in that junk folder, right? You don't want your name associated there. So while cold emails do work, you can definitely look for companies that are doing that, specializing in that. It can get a little pricey, and again, you need a strategy. Service provider leads, well, that is more for our service partners, so attorneys, lenders, right? Your home inspector, anybody can really be there to give you referrals if you have them trained the right way. And there's a lot of different ways you can go about this. Having packages available, I think, is always a good idea, because when we give them transactions, I do expect some reciprocation. And of course, last but not least, you can pay for that lead. Not something I would recommend because there's so many free ways out there. But if you have a team to feed, right, it might be necessary for production. I understand that. I'm not going to talk it down. It's just not something that I see most agents would ever need to do at the end of the day. So before we finish up, and I'm going to give you an entire slide of everything written down. So if you missed one, don't worry. I'm going to have everything. How was class? Did we cover a lot? And did we find something that made you say, that's a great idea? Because that was the goal, right? So I want to know what hyperlocal lead gen method will you try? And here is your slide that feel free to take a picture of. It has everything listed, and cross out the things that are not yours, right? Make sure that you really are finding things where you're saying like, yes, this makes sense. I want to do more of that. And then I'm going to move on from this slide right here. 3, 2, 1. All right. So anybody set mailers? I mean, you all set mailers. I know you all did, right? There's really 2 options for me that I can give you. It's either a boot camp or it's a book. Luckily, you don't have to choose because every book comes with a boot camp ticket. So for those of you that are saying, I need to dive deeper into mail, postcards, door hangers, flyers, you name it, this is probably the best choice of what path to take. It's our book reader path. For those of you that are saying, okay, now I've done the reading, I own the book, I was great, I gotta actually hit send on that mailer, right? That is where we get into action. That's our 5-day mailer bootcamp. Again, all of these are linked below for you, okay? And then for those of you that are saying, this actually made a whole lot of sense, but this was my first lunch and learn, or I can't wait to be back next Monday. Well, I'll see you back next Monday, right? The class pass, again, if it's already live, you'll see it below. If not, it's coming soon. Now the question is, where do you go from here? 1, 2, or 3? This is now your choice to make. So pick your path after class. And thanks again for joining on the journey today. And make sure you put something to use. Okay, I don't want this to be a waste of a lunch and learn. So make sure you take action. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you on the next lunch and learn. Bye for now.